There's a quiet kind of beauty that doesn't get talked about much anymore. The beauty of doing things quietly. In a world that constantly tells us to share, to announce, to display every achievement, every struggle, every step, we've forgotten how powerful it is to move in silence. It's almost as if society has equated visibility with value. If you don't post it, if you don't announce it, did it even happen? And yet, some of the most meaningful moments of growth, some of the most life-changing decisions happen in the silence no one else sees. When you're sitting with a book that shifts your thinking, when you're staying consistent with something no one knows about, when you're healing in ways you don't broadcast. That's the beauty of doing things quietly. You get to build your life without the weight of other people's expectations or opinions. Psychologically, this connects to something we all struggle with: validation. The human brain is wired to seek social approval because belonging was once a matter of survival. That's why posting your success or sharing your struggles feels so rewarding. The likes, the recognition, the encouragement. It lights up the same reward centers in your brain as food or money. But the downside is this: when you rely too much on external validation, you start living for an audience instead of yourself. Every choice you make becomes a performance. Every step becomes about how it looks, not how it feels. Doing things quietly breaks that cycle. It puts the focus back where it belongs, on you, on whether you're proud of what you're building, whether it aligns with who you want to be, whether it feeds your soul, even if nobody else knows about it. And that's rare today. It takes strength to choose silence in a world that thrives on noise. Think about it. Silence protects your energy. When you announce your plans too early, you open the door for criticism, doubts, projections. People will tell you why it won't work, why you should do it differently, or they'll silently root against you. But when you move quietly, you give yourself space to experiment, to fail, to adjust, without the pressure of eyes watching. It's just you and the work. That's where real growth happens. There's also another layer to this. Doing things quietly creates depth. When you don't seek immediate recognition, you allow things to mature. You give yourself time to master the skill before showing it. Time to let the healing settle before speaking about it. Time to live your experiences instead of rushing to package them for others. Silence gives your growth roots. So when it finally shows above the surface, it's steady, it's grounded, it's undeniable. And maybe the most beautiful part of doing things quietly is that it makes the journey yours. Not something shaped by comments or likes, not something influenced by comparison, but something intimate and authentic. It becomes less about proving yourself and more about discovering yourself. Less about applause, more about alignment. Of course, there's nothing wrong with sharing. There's power in community, in vulnerability, in connection. But it's different when you share from overflow instead of insecurity. When you speak after you've lived it, not while you're still trying to prove it. The quiet stage of growth is where that strength is built. The truth is, most of the people who inspire us today built themselves quietly before the world ever noticed. Writers wrote in silence before their words reached millions. Musicians played in empty rooms before they filled arenas. Healers faced their own shadows before guiding others through theirs. The foundation was always laid in the quiet. So maybe you don't need to announce every move. Maybe you don't need to prove to anyone that you're working, changing, healing. Maybe the best thing you can do is let your life speak for itself when it's ready. Quiet progress is still progress. Quiet growth is still growth. And sometimes it's the kind that lasts the longest. Because in the end, the beauty of doing things quietly is that it frees you. It frees you from performing. It frees you from pressure. It frees you from living your life for the eyes of others. And in that freedom, you discover something rare. The peace of knowing you're building a life that feels good on the inside, even if no one else ever claps for it.